This is Lupita Cantu's story.
Lupita Cantu was a Hispanic female and a mother of four. On Thursday, April 26, 1990, she failed to pick up her children after school. Lupita was last seen at her residence on the west side of San Antonio. She was last seen getting into a van with a bearded man and was never seen again. Lupita's sister was devastated and started doing anything she could to find her. She put up a banner reading, "Find Lupita Cantu, $5,000 reward," facing the highway, and more than 20 years later, the banner had only been replaced twice.
Using new technology in 1991, rangers matched a rural Frio County road to Lupita's. It turned out that the unknown body had been declared a homicide, but the case was never solved. The body was then buried under a Jane Doe and years later has still not been identified. Lupita's body had finally been found, but the case was never solved. What are the facts? The anonymous body had been taken to the then Bexar County medical examiner, Vincent DeMario, for an autopsy, but the owner of the Mortician's Delivery Service is deceased and the business no longer exists. The discovery of the body apparently never generated a death certificate, as the law requires, and authorities can't say why. Garcia, the county judge, who was a justice of peace, had ordered an autopsy and said records had been lost and destroyed, and he's not sure who is at fault. It would have been the funeral home's responsibility, since they were paid to bury the body and keep the records on the location of the grave, but the funeral home was not paid and was never billed to the county because it had never had a body to bury. The funeral home, he said it was the county that assigned the burial plots. They have researched all of the records and files, but they show that it is the delivery service that took the remains to the medical examiner's office in San Antonio. The body was never picked up after an autopsy and returned to Pearsall for internment. The medical examiner's records show an autopsy was performed on Jane Doe from Frio County in May 1990, but citing policy, they would not confirm if the office has released the remains afterward, nor comment on any aspect of the case. If you have any information about Lupita, you should contact Lupita's sister, Mary Guzman. Her sister's number is 210-434-7508, and the reward is $5,000. You should also contact the San Antonio Police Department. And if you have any information about any other missing person, you should contact the Missing Persons Hotline at 1-800-843-5678.
This is what she looked like 20 years ago.